Welcome to the West Alabama High School Pigskin Preview, hosted by Martin and Xavier Houston. Here's your host every Thursday night, Martin Houston.
Welcome in to the West Alabama High School Pigskin Preview Show. We're so excited to be back for week number 2. It's the game of the week, Fayette County versus Gordo. That's the Tigers versus the Green Wave. It is the Alabama Auburn of high school football. What's up, X? How you doing, man?
Doing good. Glad to be here. Ready to talk some high school football.
Yeah, and tonight we're gonna do a little something where we want to highlight these coaches. We don't want it to be about us. We want it to be about these coaches and about this program. So tonight's program, the flow will be: we have an interview with Jared Porter, head coach of Fayette County. Then we'll come back and talk a little bit. Then we'll have his quarterback, Jake Rickman, returning starting quarterback. Then we'll have Coach Gus to kick off the second half of our program. And then we'll take the last and final quarter to talk a little bit about this game and X. And we'll also talk about what's going on the rest of this week in terms of the other games in week 0. And then next week, I'll go ahead and tease and tell you we're going to game of the week will be Northridge and ACA. All right. So, X, before we get into it, anything you want to say about this before we get to Coach Porter? He and I sat down earlier this week and had some conversations, so we're going to highlight that.
Yeah, when you talk about Gordo, Fayette County, I've gotten the pleasure to cover that game before on Friday Night Lights. And, man, it is an electric atmosphere when you get down to it. It doesn't get much better than that. 2 small towns where high school football is really important to those cities. And it's a blast getting to watch young men play this game that they love so much.
All right. Well, here is Coach Porter. Our schedule is off a little bit, but we'll make things work out. Here's Coach Porter. Sit back and enjoy him and what he had to say about his Fayette County Tigers.
Doing good. Glad to be here.
A little bit about your journey to Fayette County High School and what football means to you.
This is going on my 11th, 12th year, I believe, at Fayette County High School. My third as the head coach. I came in as an offensive line coach with Coach Lance Tucker. Stayed with him until he left. Been with Bill Smith for a year, and then legendary Coach Walden Tucker, and coached with Coach Tucker and until I took over after he left. It's exciting. Fayette, there's a lot of history in football. I knew early on when I first came to Fayette, this is where I wanted to be a head coach at. The atmosphere and how much everybody here loves sports and loves football. And, it's Friday nights, just something different in Fayette, Alabama.
Yeah, Friday Night Lights should do a show, and it should go right to Fayette and Pickens County because these two programs to me, I've said it a couple times, this is without a doubt the Alabama Auburn of high school football. Two communities that go at each other, that love each other, got friends, relatives, etc. But that interaction, and ironically, I did not realize how much I was connected to Fayette because Lance and I both playing in Alabama. I was teammates with Bill Smith, so without a doubt. Now you mentioned the great Coach Tucker. Do you feel some of that DeBoer or Perkins phenomenon of having to replace a legend?
Well, anytime you follow somebody with the field's named after Coach Tucker. I tell everybody when I took over that I was lucky enough to be a part of his staff and Lance's staffs, and the history of Fayette County, and Coach Walden Tucker put us on the map. Fayette County is known for Coach Tucker. And, I told everybody from the start, the foundation's been laid. It's our job to just keep building bricks on it. And, you don't look to overshadow that. You look to keep building on what was already established.
People don't realize that he was building a pretty nice foundation over at Gordo. Thus, the communities would already have a rivalry. But the fact that he left Gordo after getting off to a pretty decent start, went to Fayette and just absolutely built a dynasty there, kind of makes this rivalry even more of a big-time rivalry.
It does. It does. This rivalry, whether we're, last few years we've been in 3A North together in the region. Now we're not. We've moved to 4A. When this first happened, me and Coach Smith talked, and we was adamant about getting this game back to first of the year where it used to be played. Kick off the year rival game. It's always a tough game. It's always a big rivalry. It's always, the kids get after it. I'm big on don't talk on social media. But this day and age, how kids are, and they're going to get. I came to practice yesterday, and that was kind of my end of the day speech was, hey, we talk with pads. We don't give ammunition. We don't listen to ammunition. We play with pads. Let's stay off social media and get football back to where football is.
If you're just not joining us, we're speaking with Coach Jarrett Porter, third-year head coach at Fayette County High School, taking on the big Gordo Green Wave. And, Coach, this, as you said, is the first game of the season, but it's easily your biggest rivalry. How does that help you prepare, first of all, in the offseason, but also how important is it to get off to a good start on Thursday night?
Well, moving this year, we lost 12 seniors. We're young in spots. We played a jamboree last week. I was very pleased with the jamboree and the effort and, the intensity flying to the ball, kids stepping up with youth. We had a lot of question marks replacing 12 seniors, and, was really proud of, some of our youth and younger kids stepping up and filling those roles and doing an effective job at it. Anytime you play Gordo, whether it's the first game, it's a region game, or it's the last game, it's a football game. Everybody's going to be strapped up. That's kind of what we've preached, since the schedule come out. That's kind of your motivation all summer to work harder in the weight room. You lost 35-6 last year. What do we do to bridge that gap? Breaking down the film, you gave up 21 points on special teams errors last year. That's preventable. You can't beat yourself. You have to do things. You don't give great teams any opportunity to succeed if you can help it. And, Coach Smith's done a phenomenal job with Gordo. They're athletic. They fly to the ball. They've been a playoff run team every year. they're going to get after it, and you couldn't ask for a better, atmosphere playing in Gordo tomorrow night. It's just, it'll be an electric atmosphere.
Well, without a doubt, in the words of Coach Stallings, God almighty, man, if you play good on defense, run the ball, stop the run, and play well on special teams, you're going to win most games. Spoke with your starting quarterback, young guy, started as a freshman,
Yes.
a lot of maturity, Jake Rickman. And the key there, I guess I would ask you, is going into his second year, what have you seen as the biggest improvement? And then talk about a little bit more. He talked about that offensive line coach, and now with you being the former offensive line coach, he even said it kind of starts with those guys. Talk about him and that offensive line.
Well, it does. Jake's obviously matured a lot the year. When you get thrown to the wolves as a freshman, offensively we try to prevent, last year things. You don't handcuff an athlete like him, but you limit things. You help him out with reads. You do some things, but all off season and moving into this year, it's been getting him more comfortable. Whether it's running some, whether it's throwing the deep ball some more, whether it's just reads and determining what coverages you got and late rolls or anything like that. And he's done a really good job of film work and working and getting mainly his with his new receivers. You replace 3 or 4 starters. So that's the main thing right there, is getting him, accustomed to his receivers this year. And he's done a phenomenal job with that.
Highlight any other players you want to on the offensive side of the ball, Coach, and anybody on the defense that you want to highlight for tonight's big game.
Well, I'm going to start with offensive line. I'm going to back Jake on that. We've always said, our run game, our pass game, it all goes back to the offensive line. They've got a really good relationship. We've had a few people out in camp. We've worked through some injuries, moved some people around for the Jamboree. We got some people back this week, and just getting that solidified. But, been working together. There's 6, 7 of them that's been working really good on the offensive line together, giving Jake time, blocking for, we got young running backs. We got 3 really good running backs, 2 10th graders. Maurice is a junior returning. He's more of our D lineman that'll short yardage back. We have, Hester Whitaker and Zamaria Knowles that's did a really good job in the Jamboree for us. And, it does go back to the offensive line, and our biggest thing is Jake feeling confident in them. You don't really handicap, like I said, Jake, he's a phenomenal athlete. You just do as a coach what you feel like he can be successful doing with what you have. And it opens the playbook up more this year. And I've been more confident in that with the line, with Jake, growing, and, the receivers. The biggest question mark, you lose 3 or 4 starting receivers last year. We return Orlando Lawson as a senior, and he's worked really hard this offseason. He's got faster. He runs better routes, and, we had other kids step up. We got Desmond Harris, which will be a 10th grader, who's going to step in his slot, and he's done a really good job. And, you got Peyton Reynolds has stepped in. He's kind of our H-back. He'll come in the box as a sniffer. He'll go out as receiver. And, we joke with him. He's just a 10th grader. He's got that, his big frame. He looks kind of like Brock Bowers. That's his nickname. He's not quite that big yet, but he looks a lot like him, and he plays a lot like him. And it's gave us a depth at young guys that, that what we were waiting to see and step into a role that's helped us offensively, and it helps Jake. It helps a lot of things. It makes your offense more versatile when we can, have those kids step up and fill some roles.
All right. What about that defense?
The defense, both sides of the ball is, not returning a lot. I think we returned 5 on defense, but, the defense kind of anchored by our defensive line. They, we returned most all of those. They play hard. They had a really good Jamboree. They flew to the ball. Linebackers are, flying to the ball. We have Avery Hancock's return seniors outside linebacker. And he kept trying to anchor that. You have, the 3D lineman, Maurice Harris, I've already mentioned, starting at one of our ends, and Devontae Nelson starting at the other end. And, we have a luxury to be able to roll about 6 in and out there that keep people fresh, and they all played hard. They had a really good Jamboree last week, just some, little things we have to fix, scheme wise, that we've worked on this week, because like I said, you're going to play a team that's got a lot of speed, that's really mobile offensively, and got a really good quarterback and running back. You just want to make sure you have everything in that you need that week.
All right, last question, Coach. If we do these 2 or 3 things, we're going to get out of Gordo with the win.
First thing is intensity. Our level of play has got to exceed Gordo's. We have to be, we have to play harder. We have to fly to the football. And the biggest thing I've kind of preached all last 2 weeks is special teams. Like I said earlier, we gave Gordo 21 points off special teams last year, and that can't happen. Special teams will win and lose a game for you. I'm big on those. We've worked those a lot over the last 2 weeks. That's things that we're not going to allow. You don't give great teams any light to help them. They're good enough on their own, and we take that away. Take away turnovers. We had 2 big turnover interceptions last year, and I put them on me. I don't put them on a quarterback because that was to me that's a play call in that situation shouldn't have been done. So there's just things like that we got to limit. We put kids in the best situation to succeed, and they got to execute and do better than on special teams. That's been a big emphasis this week. I think we've worked special teams as much as we've worked inside drill or screen period. So trying to get.
Yeah, hey, it's a 1-score game in the fourth quarter minus the extra point. The special teams and 2 turnovers. So definitely huge. Hey, that's Coach Jared Porter, head coach Fayette County High School. I'm sure he would tell you, hey, you still got time to come catch the big game tonight as they take on the Gordo Green Wave. It's the game of the week right here on the West Alabama High School Pigskin Preview Show. Thanks, Coach, and we'll catch up with you, I'm sure, later on in the season. Best of luck to you.
Appreciate it.
All right. That was Coach Porter, and we just got an update, Wyatt, Xavier, as we get ready to go to break here from Anna Snyder of the Tuscaloosa News. Gordo up 6-0 TD, 20-yard TD from Jace Neal to C.J. Lark. And when we hear from Coach Gus, he actually mentions those 2 guys by name. Coming back on the other side of X, I want you to respond, and we'll quickly get to Jake and Jake Rickman, the sophomore quarterback. You listen to the Martin Houston Show. The West Alabama High School Pigskin Preview Show. Thanks to the great folks over at Box Eye Care. Go check them out at boxeyecare.com. 205-342-0660.
It's the year-end clearance sale at Townsend Nissan going on now. You can save thousands. See BJ or Kylan today.
Welcome back into
Townsend Nissan, your savings place.
Attention, those of you looking to go on a fun vacation and see the world on the cheap. Today, the U.S. dollar is worth even more in other countries, so there's never been a better time to travel outside the USA. The dollar is worth over $1.30 in Canadian dollars, and it's the same for Australia. You can fly there today and have fun and maximize your travel dollar. Your U.S. dollar is worth over $3 in Brazilian reals, and it's worth over $18 in Mexican pesos. Plus, in Argentina, it's worth over $27 in Argentine pesos. Just think of the bargains you'll get. And the way you get the cheapest airfare to any destination is by calling Tickets That Cheap. Save up to 75% on your foreign vacation tickets. Don't wait. Call now.
800-426-1886. 800-426-1886. 800-426-1886. That's 800-426-1886.
Again, the West Alabama High School Pigskin Preview Show as we're highlighting the game of the week, Fayette County versus Gordo. X, any takeaways from Coach and Coach Porter of the Fayette County Tigers?
Yeah, Coach Porter seems to be really bought into the school, listening to how he ended up in this position, the job he said he wanted, and he's got it now, and he's done a great job there. Has a young team, but he believes in his team, and Can't really wait to hear what his quarterback has to say.
Yeah, Jake's a young kid. He started as a true freshman last year, so they took some bumps and lumps last year, and they lost a bunch of uh, 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 seniors. Lost, I think, 12 guys, something like that, off of the team. So it's a young team, but Jake says he up to it. And here is Mr. Jake Rickman, sophomore quarterback for the Fayette County team. Welcome back into the West Alabama High School Pigskin Preview Show. This week's game of the week, Fayette County Tigers versus the Gordo Green Wave. This is the Alabama and Auburn, I believe, of high school football. West Alabama, two communities that absolutely have a history, that they battle one another. And right now, jumping on with us to talk about the game of the week is Mr. Jake Rickman. Good morning, Jake. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Well, Jake, you still wearing number 17? I
Yes,
want to
sir.
make sure. All right. So if you're watching the game, this will be airing while they're actually playing. But if you're watching the game, look for number 17, sophomore quarterback, standing at 6 foot 160 is what his huddle says. Is that still accurate, Mr. Rickman?
I put on a little. I put on a little pound. I mean, I might be 165, 170 now.
I figured as much. That's why I asked that question. Jake was the starting quarterback as a freshman last year. It didn't go as well as he liked. And the reason I can say that with confidence is when you go to his huddle account, it says, I hate to lose as much as I love to win.
Yes, sir.
That's right. As you head into the 2024 season, Jake, what are you expecting from the standpoint of what you guys were able to do last year versus this year under your leadership?
Really just build off our mistakes. Because we had a lot of them last year as me as a freshman. And honestly, we didn't do as well as we'd like in the playoffs, obviously. And we really want to build off our mistakes and just try to get better.
I know Nick Saban and Urban Meyer used to both say, hey, we don't really like to recruit guys that only play one sport. And I know that you, if I'm not mistaken, you're kind of a baseball, basketball, football type of guy, right?
Yes, sir, I am.
Which one's your favorite? It's okay to be honest.
Ball all the way, honestly.
Do it now?
Football all the way.
All right. So that tells me you got a little competitive spark in you. And so I'll ask you, what does this rivalry mean to you and to your school? Because when you look at what's happened over the years, this rivalry was already close. But when Coach Tucker went from Gordo to Fayette after having success at Gordo, it kind of ramped it up, and it still continues to this day. So what does it mean for you to be continuing this rivalry as the quarterback of the Fayette County High School Tigers?
Yes, sir. Honestly, we have it's crazy history. It goes on so far, but I know we don't like each other very much, as you know that. But I just want to win.
Just want to win. Well, tell me a little bit about what it's going to take for you guys to win as you head into this big matchup.
Yeah, we got a good week of practice first, and then we got to limit our mistakes. Can't have much mistakes versus them. And other than that, if we limit our mistakes, limit the turnovers, and not turn the ball over, I think we'll come out with a win.
Who are some of the other guys on this team? Of course, you're at the quarterback position, but who are some of the other guys that we should be looking for as we watch this game?
Really, our offensive line, they're leaders. They're big, they're strong, and we run behind them. So if I could say all of them, but if I had to pick a few, it'd be our offensive line.
All right.
For sure.
Well, with that said, do you guys I know you're the QB, but are you guys more identity-wise? Are you more of a ground and pound physical team, or a kind of a dual threat, or do you lean one more toward the pass?
I'd say dual threat, honestly. I don't see as many high school teams throwing the ball as much as we do, honestly, because I feel like we throw the ball a little bit more, but I'd say dual threat.
But hey, that's unusual when you have a quarterback just throwing the ball a lot, but yet you come out and talk about the offensive line and how they're leaders of the team. Speaking of throwing the ball a lot, who's your now? Be careful with this. I'm gonna give you a heads up. Be careful with it. Who's your favorite target? That go-to guy that you want to pull that play out in the clutch.
Well, as you know, we're pretty young this year, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So I only have one receiver from last year that I had. My receivers last year. So I mean, we'll have to see. Right now it's been all of them, honestly. In practice, everyone I've been spread the ball out to, but we haven't even played the game yet. So I mean, it's kind of tough to tell.
Well, hey, look at that, man. You may need to go into politics. Look at you saying, hey, it's all of them. And you can answer this question. I know you have an answer to this question. What's your favorite play?
What's my favorite play? I like verts, honestly. I like a vertical play, and I like to just throw it up and let one of my guys go get it.
If you just joined us, we're talking to Jake Rickman, sophomore quarterback for Fayette County High School Tigers. They had a big matchup tonight with the Gordo Green Wave. Tell us something about yourself that no one knows.
No one knows.
Or that most of us don't know. You can say what most of us don't know.
I'm a big gamer. I like to game a lot.
Which game?
I play Siege, Rainbow Six Siege.
Okay. Now, have you played the new Madden game yet? I mean, the new high school football NCAA?
Yeah, I've played NCAA, yeah.
And who do you play with at quarterback?
Honestly, I could use Alabama and just beat everybody, but I like to use like Ole Miss.
Uh-huh.
I like to stay in SEC though.
What's your long-term goals, man? What you want to do with this football career?
I want to go play college at some school I can get a good degree, preferably engineering, if I had to say. But
well, I'll close it out with, is there anything you want to say to the listening audience, anything about Fayette, and what's your prediction for you guys this year?
Prediction? I'm not going to say too much about the score, but honestly, we're going to come out to win. That's all I'm going to say. And y'all show.
All right. X, I'll let you quickly respond. That's Jake Rickman, young man, freshman, did a great job there. I think that's one of his first interviews, but great job talking about what they wanted to accomplish and what he wants to accomplish. I know you know that NCAA football and stuff, but anything quick before we get to break?
Yeah, he's a very well-spoken young man, and he's excited about the season, and that's what you love to see from guys that age. And hey, that was a smart move by Jake, not to name a particular wide receivers. You know, sometimes they can get in their feels a little bit, but he was very political with that response, and you like to hear that he's going to try to spread the ball around and get it to all of his playmakers.
Yep. And so as we go to break, you listen to the West Alabama High School Pigskin preview show. Thanks to the great folks over at the pharmacy at Midtown, pharmacymidtown.com. Go check them out. They'll be glad to assist you. We'll be back on the other side. When we come back, you will be hearing the voice of Coach Gus Smith, head coach of the Gordo Greenway. We'll be welcoming him into the West Alabama High School Pigskin preview show. We'll be back in just a moment.
Where the season never ends. This is your home of Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Are you receiving unemployment? Your benefits could be at risk. Here's how you can protect yourself and your benefits. Never respond to mail notifying you of a false claim in your name. Never answer a text message asking you to verify your account. And only respond to official Alabama Department of Labor's social media pages. Report fraud at labor.alabama.gov/fraud. Brought to you by the Alabama Department of Labor, ABA, and the station. The Alabama Department of Labor is an equal opportunity employer program. Auxiliary aids and services available upon request to individuals with disabilities. Dial 711 for TTY accessibility.
I'm embarrassed to say this. I've been using deodorant on my armpits for 30 years, and anytime I noticed odor anywhere else, I thought I needed another shower, I wasn't clean, or I felt like there was something wrong with me. And then my gynecologist told me about Lumi. It's a whole body deodorant for pits, feet, and privates that controls odor anywhere and everywhere on your body. Since Lumi, I never have to worry about body odor ever again, anywhere on my body. And that reassurance is worth every penny.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code SHOWER and get 15% off your first purchase with code SHOWER, like the Lumi Starter Pack, Acidified Body Wash, or new Lumi Plus Sweat Control. That's LUME deodorant.com, code SHOWER for 15% off your first purchase. With over 200,000 five-star reviews, I am so sure you're going to love it. Or return it for free with Lumi's 60-day money-back guarantee. That's LUME deodorant.com, code SHOWER to save 15% today.
Welcome into the West Alabama High School Pigskin Preview Show. It's week number 2. We're featuring the Gordo Green Wave and the Fayette County Tigers, and we're highlighting a couple of coaches, the head coaches, a couple of key players, and so excited to have them join us. To me, this is the Alabama Auburn of high school football, some of the best football you'll see in West Alabama. And right now we want to bring in Coach Gus Smith, head coach of the Gordo Green Wave, heading into his 3rd year. How you doing, Coach?
Man, how about you? It's awesome to be here. This is pretty cool.
I'm doing great, Coach, and so glad to have you. You and I have a relationship that goes back informally for quite a while. Share just a little bit about that, just a fun side or aspect to our relationship.
Well, I was just a fan, you know. I mean, it's tough to get to know all your fans when you're famous like you are. But yeah, when I was a little kid, man, when I was a little kid, I guess I mean, when in you know your days, I was 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years old whenever you were playing at Bama and
thanks,
man, sorry, but I wore that 35, man. I was a fullback, and that's all. I had the neck roll. I had the elbow pads, and man, you were my guy, man. You know, a lot of people idolize, you know, the Saran Stacey's and the Bobby Humphreys of the worlds, and you know, the David Palmers and guys like that score touchdowns. But I, in my heart, I knew where them touchdowns are coming from. So I was a fullback guy, and I was blessed to get to play that since I was a little kid up until high school and college. And I mean, I wore 35.
Tell our listening audience what that fullback mentality means to you, and what's the identity of this Gordo football team, and how the fullback position has impacted that.
Yeah, it's funny we started off on that because I think that's our identity is what we want our identity to be, is toughness, selfless toughness, great teammates, relentless, you know, and that's what fullbacks are, is they get joy out of what someone else does, and they get joy out of hurting somebody. Honestly, you know, they don't even, I didn't necessarily even wanted the ball back then. I just wanted to run lead and a linebacker get in my way, you know, like I think that's what you want as a team, as your identity is. I told our team a couple of years ago, I want a whole a mentality of a bunch of fullbacks on our team, And a lot of them look at you like crazy because they don't know what a fullback is. But I think the closest they can come to that now is probably a center or a pulling guard, and it's all kind of the same type mentality.
Now, Coach, I was probably a little bit of a prima donna at a fullback. What I mean by that is I did want to run the ball, but I was a tailback in high school, but knew that I'd have to play that fullback position. Who are some of your standout players and some guys we need to look for as we're watching this game tonight?
Yeah, I mean, your quarterback's always going to be there. I think, Jace Neal's our quarterback. He's a returning starter from last year. He's pretty nifty. He can throw it. He can run around. He's the Johnny Manziel type guy. The no. Oh, okay, do it. Yes. Like in the middle of a play, you're saying no, then you're saying yeah. Okay, do that. So he's Brett Favre type guy. But he's a great teammate, great player, just a heck of an athlete. I think you'll hear his name a lot tomorrow. On the D line, I think you'll hear the name Cam Lark a lot. He's a senior this year. He's kind of relentless on the D line. You'll see he had to talk him into playing nose guard. His sophomore year, he felt like nose guard was a bad position, that he was being punished to play nose guard. But now he understands he can dominate. He plays point guard in basketball, but he's 6'1", 270. So his first step is going to be quicker than everybody else's first step. But he's finally seeing that now, and he squats 550, so that helps. So Cam Lark, you'll definitely hear his name. He's gonna create some havoc back there, hopefully. And then his brother CJ Lark is our running back and our wide receiver. CJ never says a word, just comes to work every day doing what he's supposed to be doing, and he's a great teammate, and he's smooth back there. He kind of reminds me of TJ Yeldon a little bit. He kind of runs with his pads up a little bit, and everybody says, "Get your pads down, get your pads down." But I'm like, hey, he's doing pretty well, running the way he's running. So just leave him alone right now.
Tell Cam to think about Aaron Donaldson and Quinnen Williams, and he'll love that position. And also tell CJ Eric Dickerson did pretty good. Next question is, who are some of those other players that we need to look for as Gordo takes on Fayette County?
Yeah, I think you'll hear the name Josh Wilder some. He's a junior this year. He kind of played sparingly. He was overshadowed by his brother Ethan Wilder, who graduated last year and signed with Memphis. Ethan scored 51 touchdowns and ran 11 kickoffs back for touchdowns, and he was electric. And so Josh kind of follows him. Yeah, so it's easy to get overshadowed by Ethan, but Josh is he's a big old kid, man. He's 6'3", 195. He's gonna look the part out there, and he's gonna make some plays for us, I would imagine. And a safety named Ryder Robertson. Ryder's he's our quarterback on defense. He gets us lined up. He knows all the coverages. He's a coach out there, man. We're blessed to have him back there. And when he's on the field, everything seems okay. You can definitely tell when he's not out there.
What does playing in a rivalry game like this mean? I grew up in a little small town, Cherokee County, and everybody shows up on Friday nights. It's Friday Night Lights, and to me, it's a lot like the Gordo community and the Fayette community. So, Coach, what has it been like for you to come into this small town from the world like Daphne and take over as the head coach of the Gordo Green Wave and play in this rivalry?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I feel like on a Friday night in Gordo, it doesn't matter who we're playing. The town's here. They're ready to go. I definitely don't stop by the gas station on those days, and I don't stop by Dollar General on those days. But it's important. it's important to these people. But hey, the good thing about it is it's not just important on Fridays. It's important on, in February on a Tuesday afternoon here. So it's I think in towns like this, sometimes it's the biggest show in town. I feel like Gordo football it represents the city of Gordo sometimes, and that's that's a big responsibility on our shoulders as this program. But like you said, we're the biggest thing in town, so everybody wants to know about it, and everybody wants to be a part of it, and they want to know. And you represent them in some type of way. You get beat by Fayette, and they just got beat by Fayette. So it doesn't sit well with them because they have friends in that community and relatives and all that. Like you said, it's the Iron Bowl of it. So you lose to them, and you got to hear it forever. And so I haven't felt that yet, and I hope I don't have to. So Fayette's the third winningest program in the history of Alabama. So they've been beating somebody.
Absolutely, Coach. Fayette, I just got a text from someone that said that Fayette County is one of 4 schools that starts this season having won 700 or more games. So they're definitely one of the top winningest programs in the state of Alabama. Coach, with that being said, what's the 2 or 3 keys to victory for you and your Gordo Green Wave?
Yeah. I think secure the ball, number one. I think, that goes for everybody. Just no turnovers. Limit the penalties the first game of the year. That's always probably an issue for all coaches and all players. It's, you've been holding all summer, so you just got to limit the penalties and, limit the turnovers. I think, the main thing for us is just be relentless. I talked about the other day, like when you watch a scary movie, the most scariest characters when you watch are the ones who never go away. They just keep coming back and they keep coming back, and you can shoot them and you can stab them and you can do all this stuff. And you got, Jason with that mask just walking through the woods casually, and he just keeps coming back. And that's what scares people, is just those characters in those scary movies. They never go away, no matter what you do. And that's a scary thing when somebody will never go away. Like, they just keep coming back and keep coming back.
Well, Coach, we wish you nothing but the best. Appreciate you taking some time to be with us. Of course, you're playing right now as this is airing, but we want to thank you for being part of the West Alabama High School Pigskin Preview Show. Fayette County versus Gordo Green Wave. May the best team win.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me on. Roll Tide and Roll Waves.
All right. We'll be back in just a moment to keep the conversation rolling. 205-342-9904.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
The sky mostly clear this morning. Will be in the upper 60s by daybreak, around 68. Later today and Saturday, a good supply of sunshine both days. Highs around 90. And we stay dry Sunday. The sky mostly sunny, the high at 93. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. It paid for me to be the first person in my family to go to school. That education got me to the first day at my dream job, which I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job and the home loan benefits I got from the Army National Guard helped me buy my first house. I also know that I will be one of the first to respond if my community ever needs me.
Sponsored by the Alabama Army National Guard. Aired by the Alabama Broadcasters Association and this station.
The Alabama Securities Commission protects you from financial fraud. Anyone asking you for investment money must be licensed. You're careful with your money. Fraudsters aren't. Before you invest, call our hotline at 1-800-222-1253 to verify the licensing of the person making an offer and the product. Don't lose your hard-earned money. Learn to protect yourself at asc.alabama.gov. Paid for by the Investor Protection Trust and brought to you by the Alabama Broadcasters Association and this station.
All right, welcome back in. It's the West Alabama High School Pigskin Preview Show. We've had some great interviews with the coaches. We've gotten a couple of updates via the text from Anna, 14-6 right now, and she's going to try to call in. If she calls in, just add her to the conversation. I want to thank Houston Hydro Steam, and he likes to say he's a brother from another mother. They give you quality work you can stand on. Houston Hydro Clean Carpet and Upholstery Cleaning. Go to HoustonHydroSteam.com. All right, X. Hey man, let's break this down a little bit. It's high school football at its finest happening over in Gordo. What was your biggest takeaway about that game? And then we'll quickly talk a little high school football about the rest of West Alabama.
One thing I love about the state of Alabama is like just the small town football love that you see. And Gordo and Fayette, as you said, is the high school version of Alabama Auburn, man. It is such a competitive event. Like I said, having the honor and pleasure of covering this game personally, the stadium is packed, the crowd's rocking, everybody's into it. I mean, these aren't big cities. These are small country towns. People like to say, as Coach Smith said, you don't want to necessarily be out running around when you're the head coach on this game day. And, man, it is just an invigorating atmosphere to be at, and these coaches and these teams and these players personify what it means to be a part of that.
All right, it's going to be loud here, but we're going to bring in Anna Snyder of the Tuscaloosa News, giving us a live update right from the field. Hey, Anna, tell us what's going on.
Hey, it's good. How are you?
Doing great. Tell us what's the latest is happening at Fayette versus Gordo.
Yes, so Jace Neal just scored 10, 15-yard touchdown run to give Gordo the lead again. So Gordo is up 13-6, and it looks like there is my vision's not good, so forgive me, but about 6 minutes left in the second quarter.
Oh, wow. So Jace Neal was one of those guys that we had attempted to get on the show, but he and I couldn't connect. But he was one of the guys that they said would be a big-time player. Doesn't look like he's disappointed. I had someone text me, did Fayette drop a big touchdown pass that would have made this game potentially tied?
I'm sorry, one more time?
Well, someone texted me and said that Fayette County dropped a 50-yard touchdown pass. Is that?
They did.
Yeah.
Yes,
Wow.
They did right in front of me. It was a close one, but yeah, it was just out of reach for the receiver, but it was a close one.
Oh, wow. Well,
the receiver had him beat too.
Anything else you want to share with us before we let you go? We appreciate you taking time to jump in and give us a live update.
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing else. It's just fun atmosphere, and I'm happy to be here. It feels good to be back out here. I can tell you that.
Yeah, well, we're stuck in studio, but it definitely sounds like that the Fayette County team has taken a big step from last year, at least at this point. It was a 35-6 last year where they gave up 3 special teams touchdowns. How has that part of the game been?
That part of the game, it's been good. Both teams have missed. Well, Gordo made their last extra point, but both teams missed their first extra point attempt. But no, there have been no touchdowns given up special teams-wise, so all that's looking good so far.
All right. Well, next week, Anna, you know where you're going to be covering next week?
I'm not sure yet, but I'm eyeing the Northridge ACA game, but I know Bibb County comes back to Gordo, so we'll see about that.
Yeah, that's going to be our game of the week, ACA in Northridge. So if you happen to be there, we'll connect again next week. Appreciate you, and take care, and appreciate you taking some time to jump in on here.
Yes. Of course. Thanks for having me. Have a good one.
You too. All right, X, any of these games jump out at you? Week 0, a couple big games. Central is at Tuscaloosa County. You've had opportunity to cover those two. New coach at County High. Anything from that particular team or game that you're looking forward to seeing?
That game is very, to the Tuscaloosa people, that's a lot like the Fayette Gordo game. You know, that was a game back in the 90s that was played at Bryant-Denny. That's how big and exciting it is for our community. New head coach at County High, you have DeMario Pippin, a guy that I had the opportunity to play against for 3 years in high school, is returning for his second season at Central. Both of those schools, they have some playmakers, especially I know one guy that sticks out to me is County High's running back, C.J. Hutchison. He is a junior. And, of course, we know Kevin Riley, who was the star running back at County High last year, is now at Alabama. And from a former coach that we have a pretty close relationship to, told me C.J. is special. C.J. is a guy to watch out for. He had a game as a backup. I think he went for 280 and 3 touchdowns last year.
Let's wrap that. Need to hit a couple of other quick games before we got to get out of here. Florence at Hillcrest. Hillcrest making the move to 7A. Kind of give me a quick response to Florence coming into Hillcrest. Can Hillcrest make the jump more effective and successful than County High did?
Hillcrest definitely has it. You look at their team. I know they have quarterback returning Bryson Kimbrough, who's committed to Louisiana Monroe. Really talented young man. That team is loaded. I think Hillcrest makes a pretty easy jump. Maybe not the dominance that we've seen from them at the 6A level, but there is a team that will be able to compete in 7A.
You think they make the playoffs? Because they have to go through Mountain Brook, not Mountain Brook, but Thompson and all of the big juggernauts out of Birmingham that has taken care of. You think that they make the playoff in their first year?
I think this is a team that can make the playoffs.
Awesome. We'll definitely be watching them, keeping up with them as we move along. One other highlight game I want to talk about this in week 0. Christian Jones coming back to Paul Bryant High. I've never heard of Percy Julian, but that's who they have tonight. Give us a quick reaction to former Bama player coming back home there.
Let's see what Christian Jones can do with Bryant. Bryant is a program that has struggled for years, and part of that is that they've had such a turnover at the head coach position. So hopefully Christian's able to get there, lock it down, and get some of those talented athletes that you see on the basketball court and baseball field to potentially come out and be a part of the football team.
Yeah, absolutely. And wishing Christian Jones nothing but the best. We'll be highlighting some of these teams as the game of the week. Right now, it looks like we're going to be highlighting Northridge and ACA. Don't know that yet, but we'll communicate that with you. Man, this has been a fast show. But we have to get ready to get out of here. It's the West Alabama High School Pigskin Preview Show. We'd like to thank all of our sponsors, Box Eye Care, Houston Hydro Steam. We have the pharmacy at Midtown. Also, we want to thank the venue. And, hey, the venue is going to be hosting the 5th quarter starting next week. That'll be an opportunity for you to go with family and friends over and hang out. It's a family affair, not for kids only. So don't drop the kids off and think it's all okay. All right. Hey, that's Xavier Houston. That's Wyatt Fulton. I'm Martin Houston. This has been the West Alabama High School Pigskin Preview Show. Find out what's happening with Gordo and Fayette, and starting next week, why to be keeping you all clued in on Friday night high school show. Thanks, and roll tide. Go. I can't say that. I can't say it. We'll be out of here. Thanks, guys. We appreciate you. We'll be back next week at 7 p.m. on the West Alabama High School Pigskin Preview Show.